Today, we'll delve into a fascinating and transformative topic, the anticipation of events in our minds and hearts, a concept deeply explored by the great teacher Neville Goddard. We're not talking about fiction here. If something imagined can become real, then our world is essentially imaginary. The scenes we live in our minds today will be interpreted in physical reality tomorrow. If you accept this truth, you'll see your life from a broader perspective, realizing that everything you've experienced was, first and foremost, imagined by you. From this moment on, you'll have the responsibility to imagine better for your life. Only the best. Most people believe that all reality is in the solid objects surrounding them and that things simply happen randomly. But chance doesn't come from the external world, but from the world that is first built in people's minds. The Chilean prophet is known, but he erred in his prophecy about the level. We are all prophets, for by giving our opinions and revealing our judgments about this and that, we are building what is to come. The function of a prophet is not to reveal the inevitable, but to point out the destiny that is being built now and, if it's not to our liking, to take another direction. Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, it says in Numbers 11:29. This means it would be good if everyone realized that what they meditate on daily is what is to come, for everything that happens to us rests on the structure of our imagination. Let me share with you the story of a dance teacher, whom we'll call Junior. His story, as he himself told it, begins when he was 19 years old and already a relatively successful teacher, but his financial situation didn't progress for 5 years. At 24, he met a girl who convinced him to attend my lectures. I had been saying that imagination creates reality. He found the whole idea ridiculous but decided to accept the challenge in order to prove that I was wrong. He bought my book Your Faith is Your Fortune and read it many times. Even without being 100% convinced of the ideas presented in the book, he set himself a very ambitious goal. He had been an instructor at the Arthur Murray Dance Studio, so his goal was to acquire a franchise of that studio and be his own boss as the business owner. This could be the hardest thing in the world at that time because the rules for acquiring a franchise from that studio were extremely rigorous, and besides, he didn't have the money needed for that type of investment. Even so, he went to sleep every night with that feeling of achieved goal, as if he were already the happy owner of one of the Arthur Murray Dance Studio franchises. 3 weeks after starting this process of sleeping with the achieved goal, a friend from Nevada called him. This friend owned an Arthur Murray Dance Studio franchise and asked for help because he couldn't manage alone. He proposed a partnership. Junior was so ecstatic that he traveled to Nevada with borrowed money and even forgot about the whole process that had led him there. In partnership with his friend, they worked hard and were very successful. But after a year, he was dissatisfied. He wanted more and thought of all the ways to acquire more franchises, but all his new attempts failed. One night, when he was going to sleep, he decided to read a little before going to bed. It was then that he saw among his small collection of books my book Your Faith is Your Fortune and remembered all the problems he faced a year before until he got his franchise. He read the book late into the night and began to imagine the franchise president praising him and his partner for the beautiful work they were doing in Nevada, and suggesting that they should open a second studio, a second franchise. And if they accepted the suggestion, he even already had a place available. Junior lived the same scene before sleeping for almost 3 weeks, until it actually materialized as he had imagined. His partner agreed to command another franchise and Junior was left with the Nevada franchise all to himself. He was definitely convinced of the power of imagination. However, his friend, who was a teacher, when he learned of his story, said it was a coincidence and had nothing to do with the power of imagination. So Junior felt challenged and told the professor that through his imagination he would make his studio the topic of the annual convention of Arthur Murray franchisees months later. This indeed happened. Junior gave a lecture to a large audience and was applauded and congratulated by Arthur Murray himself, as he had imagined it would be. But not even this convinced his skeptical friend about the power of assuming and imagining a goal as already accomplished. The teacher friend said again that it had been a coincidence and that it would have happened anyway without having imagined it before. But Junior didn't feel offended, as he saw in it an opportunity to demonstrate, if only to himself, how powerful this process was. He took an even bigger leap. He wanted to assume the largest Arthur Murray franchise. And using the same process used in previous goals, he received a proposal from Murray himself to assume the direction as one of his partners in the largest franchise of the network in a city with more than 1 million inhabitants. Junior's story reminds me of the book of John, chapter 14, verse 29, where it says, "I have told you now before it happens, so that when it does happen you will believe." Dear viewers, do you realize the power that resides in your minds? Junior's story is not unique. Throughout history, countless people have used the power of imagination to shape their realities. Think of the great inventors, artists, and leaders who have changed the world. They all had a vision first, a mental image of what they wanted to create, before it manifested in the physical world. Thomas Edison, for example, visualized the electric light bulb long before he could physically create it. Walt Disney imagined a magical theme park long before Disneyland became a reality. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream of equality and justice that inspired millions and changed the course of history. But you don't need to be famous historical figures to harness this power. Each of you has the ability to use your imagination to shape your life and your world. The question is, are you using this power consciously? Many of us spend much of our time imagining negative scenarios, worrying about what could go wrong, visualizing failures and disappointments. And then we're surprised when these things materialize in our lives. But if imagination has the power to create our reality, wouldn't it be wiser to use it to imagine the outcomes we desire? I invite you to do an experiment. For the next 30 days, spend time each night before going to sleep vividly imagining the life you want. Don't just think about it abstractly. Really live that reality in your mind. Feel the emotions associated with having achieved your goals. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Make it as real as possible. And during the day, when you find yourself worried or fearful, stop. Take a moment to reorient your imagination towards what you want, not what you fear. Remember, your mind doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. Every thought, every mental image, is sowing the seeds of your future. Now, it's important to understand that this isn't magic. We're not talking about sitting and waiting for things to happen by magic. Imagination is powerful, but it must be accompanied by inspired action. When you vividly imagine what you want, you're energetically aligning yourself with that reality. This naturally leads you to take actions that bring you closer to your goals. Think of it as programming your mind's GPS. When you have a clear destination in mind, your internal GPS naturally guides you towards that destination. It shows you the way, helps you recognize opportunities you might otherwise have overlooked, gives you the confidence to make bold decisions when necessary. But here's the crucial part, you must believe. Faith is the bridge between your imagination and your reality. Without faith, your mental images are just passing fantasies. With faith, they become blueprints for building your future. And when I say faith, I don't mean blind or irrational belief. I mean a deep conviction based on understanding universal laws. The law that says thoughts become things, that the inner creates the outer, that the mind is the architect of our destiny. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. If it were that simple, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer is simple, because not everyone knows it, and of those who know it, not everyone is willing to do the necessary inner work. You see, changing our habitual thought patterns isn't easy. It requires awareness, discipline, and persistence. It requires us to be willing to challenge our limiting beliefs, to question our assumptions about what's possible. It requires us to dare to dream big and believe in those dreams even when the outer world doesn't yet reflect that reality. But I promise you the effort is worth it. Because when you master the art of anticipating events in your minds and hearts, you become the conscious creators of your lives. You're no longer victims of circumstances, but the architects of your destiny. So I ask you, what are you imagining for your lives? What seeds are you planting in the garden of your minds? Are you nurturing visions of success, love, abundance, and fulfillment? Or are you allowing worries, fears, and doubts to dominate your mental landscape? Remember, the future isn't something that simply happens to you. It's something you create, moment by moment, thought by thought, mental image by mental image. You have the power to shape that future through conscious anticipation in your minds and hearts. So I invite you, starting today, to become prophets of your own lives. Not in the sense of predicting an inevitable future, but in the sense of consciously creating the future you desire. Imagine vividly. Believe deeply. Act inspiredly. And always remember the words of Neville Goddard, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Because when you can feel the reality of your desire in your imagination, you've taken the first and most crucial step to manifesting it in your outer world. The power is in you. It's always been there. It's time to reclaim it, to use it consciously, to become the active co-creators of your lives and our world. Thank you for being here today. May your imaginations be fertile, may your visions be bold, and may your realities reflect the greatness of your highest dreams. Until our next meeting, keep imagining, keep believing, keep creating. The universe is waiting to manifest your most beautiful visions. Until next time. To further enhance our understanding and application of the power of imagination, let's explore 2 additional subtopics that are closely related to the core message. The role of emotional intensity in imagination. While we've discussed the importance of vivid visualization, it's crucial to delve deeper into the role of emotional intensity in the imaginative process. The strength and depth of the emotions you associate with your imagined scenarios can significantly impact the speed and effectiveness of your manifestation. When you engage in imaginative exercises, it's not enough to simply create mental pictures. You need to feel the emotions associated with your desired reality as if it were already true. The more intense and real the emotion, the more powerful the impact on your subconscious mind and, consequently, on your reality. To increase emotional intensity in your imaginative practice, use all your senses in your visualizations. Don't just see your desire, hear, smell, taste, and touch it in your mind. Practice emotional memory. Recall a time when you felt extremely happy, confident, or successful, and channel that feeling into your imagined scenarios. Use physical gestures or movements that align with your desired state to enhance the emotional experience. Create a vision board or use other visual aids that evoke strong positive emotions related to your desire. Remember, the goal is to make your imagined scenarios so vivid and emotionally charged that your body begins to believe it's already experiencing your desire. This alignment of thought, emotion, and physical sensation creates a powerful magnetic force that attracts your desires into your reality. The concept of living in the end. Another crucial aspect of effective imagination is the concept of living in the end, a principle often emphasized by Neville Goddard. This idea goes beyond simple visualization and involves fully embodying the state of having already achieved your desire. Living in the end means adopting the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of the person who has already realized their desire. It's about creating such a vivid and convincing inner experience of your desired reality that your subconscious mind accepts it as true. To practice living in the end. Throughout your day, ask yourself, how would I think, feel, and act if my desire were already fulfilled? Make decisions from the perspective of already having what you desire. For example, if you're manifesting financial abundance, make choices as if money were no object. Speak and think in the present tense about your desire. Instead of saying, I will be successful, say, I am successful. Surround yourself with elements that reflect your desired reality. If you're manifesting a new career, start dressing the part or decorating your space to align with that career. Living in the end is powerful because it aligns your entire being, thoughts, emotions, and actions with your desire. This alignment creates a strong resonance that the universe must respond to, bringing your desire into physical manifestation. By incorporating these concepts of emotional intensity and living in the end into your imaginative practice, you can significantly enhance its effectiveness. Remember, imagination is both an art and a science. It requires practice, patience, and a willingness to explore and refine your approach. As you continue on your journey of harnessing the power of imagination, stay curious and open to new insights and techniques. Every person's path is unique, and what works best for you may be a combination of different approaches. Trust your intuition, stay committed to your practice, and remain open to the magic and wonder of the universe. your ability to create the life of your dreams through imagination is limitless. Embrace this journey with joy and excitement, knowing that you're aligning with the infinite possibilities that await you. The universe is conspiring in your favor, ready to bring your desires to fruition in ways more beautiful and abundant than you can imagine. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. With consistent practice of these imaginative techniques, unwavering faith, and inspired action, you can manifest a life beyond your wildest dreams. Trust in the process, stay committed to your vision, and watch as the universe aligns to bring your desires into physical form. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the power of imagination. May your journey be filled with wonder, growth, and the realization of your deepest desires. Until next time, keep imagining, keep believing, and keep creating the life of your dreams.